2007, Bobby, that Kevin Durant played his first ever preseason game, right? It was with the Sonics. Fast forward 17 years, he made 18 years, really. He made another preseason debut for the Houston Rockets, hosting the Utah Jazz. And this one, efficiency was the word of the night in this game for him, Bobby. Durant gets to his spot, knocks down that jumper that's become patented.
That is automatic. That jump shot is automatic once he gets to the elbow there.
Well, then he drives, shoots over Ace Bailey there, and gets that jumper to fall.
There's a little Asia Wilson there.
All right. A couple possessions later, Durant gets the handoff, finishes that two-handed slam. Aging where? Because I don't see it. Third quarter, Durant gets it and then drives towards the baseline, nails that little one-legged floater, plus the foul. Really nice finish there by Durant. And a couple of possessions later, Şengün brings it up the court and then passes it off to Durant. Top of the key for three. He finished with 20 points, 7 of 10 from the field. Here he is with our friend Vanessa Richards.
Kevin, 20 points for you tonight. 12 of those came in the third quarter. How did it feel to be back out there?
Felt great. NBA season is here. Fans were into it, even though it's preseason. So it was good to come out here and make some shots, get a rhythm.
Last but not least, this is your Rockets debut. What does it mean to get a win in front of your new fan base?
It means a lot. I'm looking forward to even more wins, too.
That's right. Thank you, Kevin.
All right, thank you.
Great game for Kevin Durant.
It's the smile for me from Kevin Durant as we say hello to our Brian Windhorst and Kendrick Perkins. That voice you just heard, Bobby Marks here as well. Brian, I'm going to start with you. Your first impressions of the new look Rockets with KD filling a void that they absolutely needed in that first round series against Golden State.
Malika, what year did you say that Kevin Durant made his debut?
2007?
How about Ace Bailey was born in 2006?
Oh.
Just want to put that in perspective before we go forward here. Look, I am not surprised at all that Kevin Durant came in a different uniform and started knocking down jumpers. I am not surprised at all that he's in excellent condition and ready to go. But what I took away from this game was how awesome the overall Rockets looked on offense, despite learning to live without Fred VanVleet. And I realize the Jazz are not going to be there in the playoffs this year. But boy, did Alperen Şengün impress me. You know, we've got other guys who played in the Eurobasket tournament for their countries this year who are not playing for their teams. Şengün has come into Rockets camp on a mission. He has looked terrific in these first two games. Last night had 13 rebounds. They're getting the ball to him at the center of the floor, letting him distribute. Look, we know he's got some limitations defensively. That's we know. But we also know the Rockets have defensive ways that they can back him up. This was an incredibly impressive start to the Kevin Durant era and very impressive for the Rockets' overall offensive play.
Well, we're only 1 week into preseason, but I think there's so many things you can take away. We were just talking about the length of Kevin Durant and Jabari Smith Jr., two players that are basically 7 foot.
It's like the Spider-Man meme when they're on the floor together. There's a lot of similarities.
Remember, this is a team that was one of the best defensive teams last year already. Now you add Kevin Durant. The other thing, as Brian said, you had Şengün. We were wondering who's playing point guard here. 19 assists the last two games. And then, of course, Amen Thompson. He's going to be the breakout star this year, an efficient 9 field goals made. A lot around the rim. We're probably going to wait and see if maybe that jump shot is developed. But this Houston team is must-see league pass when we get going for this regular season.
Must-see league pass. I have a feeling that they're going to be must-see on a lot of cable as well here. But, Perk, the impressive showing from the Rockets they put up. I know Bobby mentioned the defense. You want to talk about the defense, too. I feel like they put up 140. I know it's the preseason. I know it's the Jazz. But they put up 140 in this game, Perk.
They did, and look, I believe they're going to be the best offensive team in the league. They had 32 assists last night, 68 paint points, and 13 dunks. They're going to get out and run, but they're going to get stops, and it's going to be led by their best defender in Amen Thompson, who I believe is going to challenge Victor Wembanyama in the next few years as the best two-way player in the game. Look at this right here. It's instincts. Look at him. He's supposed to be at the nail, active hands, getting out in transition, speed, quickness, IQ. One of his assists right here to Jabari Smith for the lob. This is just perfect execution. And he didn't even break a sweat as he was running up and down the floor. Here we go again. Fighting over the screen. Tries to reject it. Nope, come here. I'm getting over the screen. Now watch this. Look how easy this is. Look how easy this is. Ball and man, I see both. I'm getting this steal no matter what. The defender don't have a chance. He out on the break, gets another dunk. This man is going to be special, and he's going to challenge Victor in a few years on who's the best two-way player in the game.
Well, since you mentioned Victor, it feels like we need to check the tape because he was in preseason action last night as well, and he was in Miami.
Yeah.
This is the second game perk of his preseason, and you're talking about being the best two-way player. He stuffed the stat sheet. 21 minutes of play. He had 10 points, 5 assists, 4 boards, 1 steal, 2 blocks. So, Brian, will Wemby be the first player to have a quadruple-double since David Robinson?
Yes.
Moving on.
Yes. You know, Malika, so the Spurs are playing without their top 3 ball handlers right now, so I don't know how to evaluate what's going on there, but he is going to be hell at the top of the floor.
To the Celtics. They were in Memphis taking on the Grizzlies. A lot of injuries here for Memphis. Jason Tatum, though, supporting his squad. His partner, Jaylen Brown, 21 points in 20 minutes. Got into a little scuffle, a pre-scuffle with Vince Williams Jr. in the second quarter. Perk, do you like the fire that we're seeing here from Brown and from Williams, too? There it is.
Hell yeah. And Malika, I told you this 3 weeks ago that I'm not counting the Celtics out. They will be in the thick of things, and it's solely because Jaylen Brown hit the ground running, but I like it because now he has the opportunity to show that he could be the number 1 option, and I like a little scuffle. They was ready to get their feet hot. I love Jaylen Brown setting the tone.
It's Jaylen Brown and it's Joe Mazzulla, too. He doesn't coach losing teams, right? To Golden State, where the Dubs took on the Blazers, Steph, he's been in midseason form again. He hit this and 1 3-pointer. Remember that there's going to be an emphasis this season on the high 5 foul. Bobby, do you suspect more and 1 threes this season?
I do. Steve Kerr said it right as soon as that rule was passed that Stephen Curry is going to be the one player that's going to benefit the most from it, and we saw that in that first.
So is that,
right there.
Is that a foul?
That's a foul.
In that same game, did you see this? Yang Hansen made his debut, and check out the kids showing him love in his pre-workout. It's safe to say he's going to be a fan favorite. The line while he was stretching just to say hello. He finished with 4 points for the night, but Brian, it's not just the impact he's having on the court here in the States, but also in China.
This is a transformational moment for the young players in China who don't remember Yao Ming. Malika, the ratings for our summer league games with Yang Hansen got higher ratings than the finals there. So, he is a developmental player. He's going to take some time to get his feet underneath him. I don't know how big his role is going to be, but he is engaging the young fans in China. It is so important for the NBA there.
He and his translator joined us here on NBA Today, and the views of that interview, he is a global star already. Let's go from one rookie to another. The Utah Jazz number 5 pick, Ace Bailey, he went off in his debut. He scored a game-high 25 points against the Rockets. So, Perk, what did you like what you saw from Bailey last night?
Well, number one, the Philadelphia 76ers should be under investigation for passing on this young man because one could argue that he's the best pure scorer in this draft class. He has the complete package. It's been that way, and this is just the first sighting of what is
released this morning. So let's dive into just a few of the 50 questions GMs were asked about the landscape of the NBA. When asked which team will win the 2026 finals, the defending champ Thunder, they got 80% of the vote. The Cavs, the Nuggets, they tied for second with 7% chances each. As for the MVP, you might ask, well, 2/3 of voters think Nikola Jokic will win his 4th award in the last 6 seasons, while last year's MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, finished 3rd behind Luka Doncic. Now, 63% of voters ranked the Cavaliers as the best team in the East, the Knicks being a distant second, which I thought was interesting, 30%. The Magic, they were the only other team to pick up votes for the top of the conference here. So out west, the Lakers, they might have Luka and LeBron, but GMs, they do not have confidence and they can finish in the top 2 seeds out west. In fact, they finished 7th in this survey in terms of Western Conference rankings. So this is a complete list of the survey results. This is in the Western Conference. Not a huge surprise, right? The Wolves, the Warriors, the Clippers, all finishing above that play-in cutoff line. So Brian Windhorst, what do you make of the Lakers being slated as a play-in team after finishing 3rd out west last season?
Well, if I was JJ Redick, I would have this brought to the attention of the players. Now, I will just point out the Lakers were the number 3 seed last year, but the difference between being 3 and 7 was just 2 games. This is very tightly packed here. But I will also say that the GMs, I'm not so sure were super impressed with the Lakers additions in the offseason. Look, the Lakers offseason for me was defined by extending Luka Doncic. To me, that made it an A-plus offseason. But DeAndre Ayton was cut and released and bought out. Marcus Smart, cut, released, and bought out. Jake LaRavia, a guy who has bounced around a little bit, didn't even get the last year option picked up on his rookie deal. The Lakers feel like those guys are going to help their defense. The Lakers feel like a slimmer and more energized Luka Doncic is going to help their team. But the margins in the West are narrow, guys, and I'm not so sure the GMs think the Lakers were able to close them.
Look at Perk's face.
Yeah, because those same GMs, 50% of them that don't know what they're doing, got the Clippers ahead of the Lakers. So I can't respect the list anyway, because the rankings anyway, because the Clippers, they have so many unknowns. We know that James Harden fold like clean sheets every postseason. Don't know if Kawhi Leonard is going to be healthy. But it's to the point now where it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't, if you're Rob Pelinka. You go out and you get DeAndre Ayton, address the center position the best way possible. You get a pointed attack defender on the perimeter in Marcus Smart, who has new life. But if he couldn't go out and do anything else, because it probably would involve them having to move on from Austin Reeves, who, by the way, all the GMs probably want and be blowing up Rob Pelinka phone. So again, I believe that the Lakers are going to finish top 6. I believe they're one of the better teams in the Western Conference. I believe that Luka Doncic is going to be, he's my MVP front runner heading into this season.
I feel like we're going to have this argument all year.
As
far as where the standings is. I think Brian hit it on head. I just think there's so little separation where everyone else is outside of Oklahoma City compared to where maybe Houston and Denver are probably a little bit ahead of the pack.
I would say so.
But when you look at Golden State and the Lakers and the Clippers, I think the big question, I'm not going to put myself in the minds of the GMs who voted on this, the concerns with LeBron at age 40 years old, where he is from, coming off this injury here, and the depth of this roster. They did enough this offseason with DeAndre Ayton and Jake LaRavia and Marcus Smart to be part of the conversation. But if I'm going to be on a mound fighting for the Lakers, it's not going to be that one right there. I could see them being in that spot contending for a play-in spot.
The optimistic view for the Los Angeles Lakers is that they only had Luka Doncic for half a season, and they were still third in the Western Conference, right? The optimistic view is they now have a training camp with Luka in the best shape, one of the best off seasons of his career, and let's see how far they can go that way. But what Brian is saying is GMs are looking around and saying just because you took other people's scraps, that doesn't necessarily make it so that we believe in you as a team. That's the GM's view. I'm not so sure that that's mine. As for the coaching side of all of this, Heat head coach Erik Spoelstra won both Best Head Coach and Best Manager and Motivator of People. That's a title that's pretty good. Shams, I understand you have some news on Spo.
Yeah, Malika, sources tell me that Erik Spoelstra will be named the next USA basketball men's national team head coach.
Okay.
So he's succeeding Steve Kerr in the position. So he's going to have the 2027 World Cup and then the 2028 Summer Olympics here in Los Angeles. And Spoelstra is someone that USA officials really liken to all the past year. They really narrowed into Spoelstra as the next head coach for this job. And you think about the cycles that we've seen. Greg Popovich at the Tokyo Olympics, then Steve Kerr, who was the lead assistant on his staff, he takes over. Spoelstra was the lead assistant on Steve Kerr's staff.
Right.
Now he takes over. But I think he's someone that we could see. He's young enough to where he could have multiple cycles here as well.
Yeah, and this is something that we've seen. This is a trend. Ever since Coach K was coach for a couple of cycles, Pop's a coach for one, and then we see Steve Kerr one, and now, Bobby, we see Erik Spoelstra being named the head coach.
I think the most interesting thing, certainly, and he's earned it based on where he's been with, certainly with Steve Kerr last Olympics, is who is going to be on this roster when we get to Los Angeles in 2028, because it could look awfully different than what we just saw in 2024.
But we know we got a coach.
We do.
Right? We know we got a coach, and Erik Spoelstra, University of Portland grad, my alma mater, is an excellent choice. All right, we're going to move on from this, so we got a lot to get to in the final 20 minutes of our show. Asia Wilson's shot, it didn't just sit
on display here in Game 5. James and Butler throwing haymakers at each other. Up top to Butler. Butler pulls up. Got it! Jimmy Butler with another masterpiece. Butler drives, falling away. Got it again! Butler drives, and he's fouled. And Butler right now is exhausted.
5 years ago today, Jimmy Butler willed his Miami team to victory in Game 5 of the NBA Finals, 35 points in 47 minutes, and Mike Breen said it best, Butler was exhausted, but it led to this iconic photo and meme. So it got us thinking of the best heroic playoff performances of all time. I think it's time for Big Perk's Big List.
Damn it, it's not your list. It's Big Perk's list. There's actually rules to this, okay? You will speak when spoken to. Give me some energy. Bam. That's it? Bam! 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 Put it up there. It's not your list. It's mine. Hello, world. Y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Hey, listen. This is my list, okay? Big Perk list. Big Perk's big list of playoff heroes since 2000, okay? Since 2000. We're going to crank it off because this one of my best lists right here. Coming in at number 5. Bam! Put it up there. You remember Dwayne Wade in 2006? Before Braun, before Bosh, when I then handed them a 40-piece bus in the NBA Finals in Game 5, the most free throw made the most made free throws in Finals history. Dwayne Wade went on to capture Finals MVP. This before Braun, this before Bosh. D Wade earned the name Flash throughout this playoff series in that Finals run. Bobby, where you at? Give me number 4.
Bam!
I kind of like the clap. I was part of this moment. Wendy, you was there. The truth. Paul Pierce, a brawl for it all, toe-to-toe with Braun. Went off 40-piece plus in a crucial Game 7 to send us to the Eastern Conference Finals later to go and capture my first championship. Paul Pierce, the truth, one of the greatest individual runs in Finals history. Coming in at number 3. Brian, Wendy, where you at? I need you on this one.
What a great call. One of my most memorable games. Bam!
There we go. I like that. Y'all remember Giannis? We all was there. Game 6, closeout game. Handed them people a 50-piece wing dinner. All flats. 14 rebounds. Dominated. Made his free throws. Giannis Antetokounmpo at this moment became a top 5 power forward of all time. This was a defining moment for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Coming in at number 2. Malika, where you at, girl? I need your energy on here now.
Bam!
Don't shake that wedding ring off shaking too hard, damn it. Steph Curry, the green-eyed assassin. In Boston, in Beantown, went into Boston and handed them people 30-plus points to get his 4th championship. In my opinion, the most important championship of his career because he went on to capture his first Finals MVP. Coming in at number 1. You know what it is. Bam! The King. Game 7, 2016. Being down 3-1 on the road. 27 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists, filled up the stat sheet, and then with the monster block at the end, Cleveland, this is for you, came back and got it done. Damn it, this is Big Perk's big list. And listen, I got a bonus one here. Shams, where you at? Shams, where you at? I need your energy here now. Where you at?
This
there we
is what it is.
go.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Trade deadline special. You put in that work.
Shout out
you earned the
ESPN
right
Social
to be on
for
this
coming up with
list.
this
You know
concept.
what I'm saying? You was our hero at that moment, man. You saved us. You carried us.
That was one heck of a performance, one heck of a list. Perk even worked up a sweat. Mr. Windhorst, any notes here?
Yeah.
That Paul Pierce LeBron game in 2008 is one of the most underrated games the last 25 years. I know your team won, Pierce, or Perk, but my compliments for having that one on there.
There you go. And that is Big Perk's big list. And if you don't like it, you can argue with your mom. We are only 12 days away from opening night. Unfortunately not for Jaws. He recovers from that ankle injury, but we can't wait to see him get back out on the court. Another highly anticipated star to get his debut, Giannis Antetokounmpo. After rejoining the Bucks this week following a bout with COVID, Giannis addressed the media yesterday, and he explained what goes through his mind every offseason, to which his status brings his status with the Bucks, into question.
Temptation. Temptation. You know, like when you're going through parkour, you go through the outside and you're not wearing your wedding ring like me now, and the people are looking at you like, oh, he's kind of handsome. Oh, it's temptation. And that starts when the season ends. There'll be a lot of people that are going to approach me or approach, I don't know, my agents, and they're going to say, hey, this is a possibility, that's a possibility, this is a possibility, this is a possibility. But at the end of the day, ultimately, I'm going to make a decision. My decision today is that I'm here. I'm locked into whatever I have in front of me. Now, if in 6-7 months I change my mind, I think that's human too. You're allowed to make any decision you want. But I'm locked in. I'm locked into this team. I'm locked into these guys, to this group, and to my coaching staff, and to myself.
So Giannis posted this last night. This was on his social media. He said, year 13, let's hoop. So today on The Rich Eisen Show, our new teammate Charles Barkley shared his thoughts on what Giannis and the Bucks need to do here. Take a listen.
They have done everything. Seriously, I want a person to love me as much as the Bucks love Giannis. I mean, they did. They went out and got Dame. They went out and got Miles Turner. They've done everything possible. So it's unfortunate that he feels like he's entitled to win a championship every year. Everybody wants to win a championship. But the Bucks have done everything they possibly could. It's disheartening for me to hear him thinking like, if we don't win a championship this year, I want to be out of here. I hate hearing that.
I don't want to start off our tenure by disagreeing with Chuck here. I see where he's coming from, but at the same time, Perk, I don't know that this is a reaction to 1 year from Giannis. I think it is continued first-round exits without being able to stay healthy as being a piece of it. What do you think?
I actually agree with Chuck, though.
Yeah.
Milwaukee has done everything in their power, or they try to make moves every trade deadline, every offseason to bring in pieces. Right now, does it work all the time? Absolutely not, but they try. They definitely try. They got rid of Drew Holiday to bring in Damian Lillard, and then all of a sudden Drew Holiday ended up in the same conference with him and won an NBA championship. So it's like, at this point, it's exhausting for me. Giannis just needs to say what he wants, right? All this talking through his agent, just come out and say it. Do you want to be there full time or you don't, right? This year-to-year basis is not fair to the organization, and it's not fair to the group that's in their locker room.
Brian, what do you make of this?
Yeah, the situation in Milwaukee is actually very simple. They had a great championship-level team for a number of years, and several times in a row, it was derailed by playoff injuries. Chris Middleton, Dame Lillard, Giannis himself. Had they not gotten that championship in 2021, this would have been a real basketball tragedy. Luckily, they did get it, and now the string is out. Their stars have aged out, gotten injured, their draft picks are all gone, and Giannis moved with his actions. You want to know how Giannis felt about their offseason? They did the Dame Lillard wave and stretch in June. They signed Miles Turner in July. And then Giannis asked to talk about being traded to New York in August. Like, just judge on his actions and judge on the reality, and that's all you're going to need to know.
The best part is, as you said, 12? Is that the number of days to the start of the NBA season? We're going to know what this Milwaukee Bucks team is going to be in 12 days when Giannis is on the court with a lot of different new teammates, starting with Miles Turner. And is this team a championship-level team like we think New York and Cleveland is? Probably not right now. But we'll learn a lot about them in the next couple months.
And, Joms, you've reported about a time frame that the Milwaukee Bucks are up against here that Giannis could be looking at and evaluating. What is that?
It's really going to be the quarter of the start of the NBA season. So you'd think 20 to 25 games around Christmas time. When Giannis Antetokounmpo is on the floor, Giannis is Giannis. Like, we're going to know we know what he does. This is what he's capable of. 30 points, 10 rebounds, 6, 7, 8 assists. His numbers are probably going to go even higher this year without having Damian Lillard, without having some of those older players like a Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday that he's had in the past. The reality is this: John Horst, the general manager, Doc Rivers, the head coach, they believe this is a championship quality team. They're in lockstep with ownership that this team can compete for a championship. Now, Giannis aired his concerns about that and where he really feels this team is. And that's what led to some conversations with the Knicks and him making it clear to the people that needed to know that that's the team that he would be open to playing with. Results will rule the day, and we'll know these results come regular season.
And look, never say never, right? But when I hold up a team that I think can win a championship, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I hold up a team like the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm not so sure I see those two even close.
Fingers crossed, right?
Eye to
That's what
eye.
we're hoping for.
But that's 12 days away. What about tonight? The Milwaukee Bucks are in action in the preseason. Giannis, he joined the team a little late. He was still dealing with COVID. He flew over from Greece. He's now with the group. Will we see him on the floor?
Giannis will be out tonight, but it seems like there's progress being made. He's doing much more on the court. There's still a few more preseason games left for the Bucks.
A couple preseason games, and Giannis has by no means been ruled out for all of them, but we will not see him also over the summer. And as the two sides discussed a path forward, it became clear that he had interest, Shams reported, in playing possibly outside of Milwaukee, maybe even specifically in New York. And today, Giannis was asked about that story. And here is what he said. This is according to Eric Name of The Athletic, who posted this quote from Giannis today. Giannis said, quote, "I've said this many times, and I want to be in a situation I can win now, and I'm here. Now I'm here. I believe in this team," he said. "I believe in my teammates. I'm here to lead this team to wherever we can go, and it's definitely going to be hard. Now, if in 6-7 months I change my mind, I think it's human too. You're allowed to make any decision you want, but I'm locked in. I'm locked into this team." So, Ramona, you've covered Giannis for many years. What do you make of these comments?
Look, he's loyal. He's been loyal to this franchise.
Absolutely.
He has, and he's also honest. And I like that he says you're allowed to change your mind if in 6 or 7 months things look different. And to me, that's exactly what you reported the other day, Shams, which is he's evaluating the team. Let's see how they do. Obviously, the Eastern Conference, you got 2 or 3 teams on a gap year. They still have Giannis. I think Kyle Kuzma will be better this year. But they don't have Damian Lillard, and let's see if Miles Turner is enough to get them back into that upper echelon of the Eastern Conference. And that's all really you can expect in watching Giannis and how he makes his decision going forward.
Guys, the quarter mark of this NBA season is basically going to be a big part of what happens here with Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks. Teams around the league know that. And listen, 2 big things happened this offseason that we've never seen from Giannis Antetokounmpo. He was open, wanting to play outside of Milwaukee if he were to, and that was the New York Knicks. And that was made clear behind the scenes. And the Bucks did pick up that phone call when the Knicks made that phone call. There were offers made. There were conversations had. Those are all things that occurred.
I would just say that the opportunity for Milwaukee to have a season beyond the first round, like it's been the last 3 years, is now. When you look at where the Eastern Conference is, and of course New York and Cleveland, but it's so wide open beyond that with the injuries to Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton. And if it's not now, when is it going to be? And if I'm Giannis, and if we're losing in the first round again, of course you're going to want to look at options outside of staying in Milwaukee. But as Shams said, the first quarter of the season is going to be paramount here as far as how good of a start this team can get off to.
So what are you looking at? If you're a Bucks fan who's listening to this and saying, yeah, I understand that. I would want Giannis to want to win as well. What would be a successful first quarter mark if you're a fan wanting to see this play out?
You're not playing from the back. We saw last year Milwaukee was playing from the back for most of the first 20, 25 games. They're waiting for Chris Middleton to come back here. If you're up there as far as one of these top 3 or 4 teams, you're not a play-in team. I think that gives Giannis the hope that this team can contend for a championship.
Here's the thing. The Bucks have known they've been under pressure with Giannis for the
when you have a star of that magnitude, this is the way that teams operate.
Yeah, John Horst, when he made the trade for Dame, basically said, when you have Giannis on your team, you're always under pressure. You're always
when they shipped out Eric Bledsoe and brought in Drew Holiday, they were doing
this
that
is not new for them. This is just where we are right now, and the question is, do they have enough?
And that's going to be the question that hopefully in the first quarter there is some clarity on, because it sounds like that is when there's going to continue to be a value. Owns the career points per game record for the Thunder, for the Nets, the Suns, and he's second for the Warriors, behind only Wilt. That's okay. I was going to say, that's a heck of a record there. But tonight he is suiting up, of course, for the Houston Rockets. Fans everywhere anticipating this preseason debut. How is he approaching his start of his Rockets tenure here, Shams?
Malika, the partnership with Ime Udoka, that's been vital, and that's a big reason why Kevin Durant is in Houston, but also why they feel very good about where this is going. They have a history dating back to when Ime Udoka was coach at USA Basketball with the Brooklyn Nets, and Kevin Durant was there as well. And when you make a trade of this magnitude, it's of course with the championship goal in mind, but also the long-term view in mind too. And the Rockets and Durant's business manager and partner, Rich Kleiman, they've been in constant communication about a long-term contract extension. He can sign a 2-year extension. I'm told there is optimism about a deal getting done before the start of the regular season.
I think that's big. that it would be done before the start of the regular season, because we forget, like, he's still so good. We forget how old he is. He's in his late 30s now, and to give that much money to a player at that age is a significant show of faith, I think, from the Rockets. But they wouldn't have made this trade if they didn't believe in him, short term and long term. He still is that good. And I think that really shores up what probably is the final stop on his Hall of Fame career.
I think Game 7 against Golden State exposed they needed a closer.
Yeah.
And they went out and got probably the best closer
That
in the
go-to
NBA.
offense.
And Kevin Durant, despite his age, is one of the top 10 players still.
Yep.
And unless he's off the court, he is going to have a significant impact on this Houston team.
There is no doubt that this Houston team is really well positioned in a Western Conference that we all have talked about how incredibly tough it is. Unfortunately, one hit that this team took some wind out of their sails for the Rockets this summer was the loss, of course, of Fred VanVleet, who had that ACL tear. And some fans, they have pointed to one of KD's former teammates maybe as filling that void. Have you guys heard this? Fans have been asking, well, what about Russell Westbrook? Doesn't he not have a team? Maybe a possible solution? And KD was asked about that possibility in an interview on Kay Adams' show.
But I haven't really heard it outside of like fans on the internet. Yeah, Russ is a legend, and I think he deserves to be in the NBA right now, and I think he deserves to walk out of the NBA on his terms. So yeah, that'll be dope. But it's not my decision. It's not my decision. Leaving that up to whoever makes those decisions from now.
All right, Bobby. So KD says he thinks it would be dope, but he's leaving it up to the decision makers. So on the scale of KD says it's dope to nope, not happening. How about that? Where does a Russ and KD reunion?
You know who the decision maker is? Your favorite two words. First apron. When you look at where Houston is right now, they do have an open roster spot, but they're $1.3 million below the first apron. You cannot sign a player until January 8th. So a Durant-Westbrook reunion would have to wait until after Christmas here.
Okay.
So for right now, pump the brakes.
All right, pump the brakes for now. Maybe we would see Russ sign to another team before then, but if there was a reunion happening here, as we thought we would just show you some of what that connection could look like, right? Remember the times that we saw with these two in OKC.
I remember those games. I was